podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Sunday, January 24th, 2021. This is episode 1765. Enjoy. Our annual survey, going strong. We don't want to miss your feedback. So go to twit.tv/survey21 to take our survey before it closes in February. The survey helps us understand our audience so we can make your listening experience even better. And it only takes a few minutes. Completely voluntary. We don't want to spy on you. We don't want to track you. So we do this once a year to get more information about our audience. Go to twit.tv/survey21 to take it. And thanks in advance. This episode of The Tech Guy is brought to you by Conga. Conga.com/twit. Experience Conga's new brand and have some fun by testing your trivia knowledge. They'll be donating to a charity that supports COVID relief efforts at Conga.com/twit. Go there today. And by IT Pro TV. Now you can look forward to a successful new year where you can get a new career in IT with the best IT education around. Visit itpro.tv/twit for an additional 30% off all consumer subscriptions as long as you stay active. Use the code TWIT30 at checkout. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. It's time, yes, your worst nightmare. A geek with his own radio show. Oh, no. This is the place we talk tech, high tech, low tech, middle tech, in between tech. Computers, of course. But nowadays, everything's a computer. My toaster oven is a computer these days. So computers, smartphones, they're computers, smartwatches, the internet, of course, printers, and all that stuff, all the things in your life that are making your life both wonderful and miserable at the same time. That's what the show is all about. 8888 Ask Leo is my phone number if you want to join the conversation. As they say, 888-827-5536, toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you can still call, but use Skype, and then it won't cost you anything. 8888 Ask Leo. Website where we put everything that you hear on the show there. Actually, my fabulous scribe does, James DeRuvo, so you don't have to write anything down while you're listening. You just go to techguylabs.com. There's no sign up. There's no fee. It's nothing. You wander in like they used to be. Like they used to be on the internet. You just go on in and you say, hey, there's a search. You don't have to say, hey, that's optional. And there's a search there and you can click it and search for whatever you want. This is, you can go right to the show too. This is episode 1765. So the page is divided into shows. Each show an hour and each hour into segments. So you can drill right down to what you want. There's even audio and video from the show after the show's over. We put that up there. We want you to listen to radio. That's the best way to do it. So you're live. 8888 Ask Leo. Apple stock through the roof on Friday, an all-time high. How long before Apple's a $2 trillion company? I don't know. $139.07. And that's because this week, Apple is going to give its first quarter results on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. It's their first quarter. Their quarters are off by one. Their first quarter ends in December. It's the one with all the phone sales in it, so it's always their best quarter. And folks are saying Apple's revenue will, for the first time ever, go over $100 billion. That's thanks to strong iPhone 12 sales. And, of course, the AirPods Max and the HomePod Mini and the new laptops with the Apple M1 chips and Apple services, of course, Fitness Plus, Apple TV Plus, iCloud, Apple Music, formerly known as iTunes, all of that. They, like many of the big tech companies, have done very well during the pandemic. They've all become, much more valuable, and their owners much more richer and richer. Elon Musk, the richest man in the world now. Is he still? Maybe not. It's a seesaw battle between Musk and Bezos. Jeff Bezos of Amazon. Big tech is big business when you can't leave the house, you know? The money you might spend going out to eat or going on trips or going to the movies or all of that ends up in the pockets of the big tech companies. And, of course, that has garnered them some scrutiny. Amazon, Apple, Google, Facebook, and Microsoft has garnered them some scrutiny from the government, FTC scrutiny, Congress, antitrust. Everybody's, going, how big can these guys get? And as a result, companies are now spending money doing what other more traditional companies do, lobbying in Washington, D.C. We got the reports last Thursday on the lobbying dollars being spent by the big companies. Facebook spent more than anyone, $19 billion. I'm sorry, no, that would be crazy. $19 million. That's up 17%. Google actually spent less. Google's been an interesting phenomenon during the pandemic. I feel like it's been exhausting for Google. They're just exhausted. They can't. The pandemic, they sent everybody home. They said, you don't have to come back there. You may not have to come back ever. We don't know. They announced their new phones, but they did it with the weirdest announcement that was almost like nap time. In fact, I think even though it was a morning announcement, they encouraged people to, put on slippers and lie down to watch it. And they all seem kind of enervated, like kind of just drained. Just like, we're so tired. They called it Google's launch night in. Even though it was in the morning, it wasn't in the night. It was launch night in, like, stay home. It's okay. And they're kind of, it feels like they're just kind of giving up. They're slowing down. Yeah. So they spent less. Everybody else spent a lot more lobbying Washington. Google spent 36% less. Just $7.5 million. And they're still spending money. The lobbyists still are raking it in. What do? Well, they write bills. They go to Congress. They tell, elected officials, you really got to consider Google. Actually, everybody together spent slightly less in 2020, 1.8% less. Even though they are really they're under the gun. Amazon was up, Facebook was up, but Apple, Google, and Microsoft spent less. Maybe thinking, well, we're going to have a new Congress after November. We're going to have a new president, maybe. So maybe it doesn't, maybe we should wait. Let's wait and see. I bet it'll be up this year. TikTok's only spent $300,000 in 2019 to lobby. Was up a little bit, 855% in 2020. They had a lot to lobby about. I don't know what their status is. You see the ads, right, on the football games and everything for TikTok. You see all those ads, even though the Trump administration said you gotta find an American buyer, and I think it ended up being Oracle and Walmart that won the bid. But TikTok's been kind of dragging their feet. There's been no paperwork, and I think they were just waiting. They were waiting for January 20th, and now why would you buy ads if you were for sale, right? Lyft's lobbying and Uber and Doordash lobbying went up because they were, in California, they were worried about Prop 22, which they did lose. However, these companies, they want their voice to be heard. It's perfectly legal. Corporations are people, don't you know? So it's okay if they do that. But it's good to know who's spending money on Congress. And after Wednesday, Apple's going to have a lot more to spend, I think. The most they've ever made in a quarter was last year. They made $91 billion. They should make $100 billion. They're saying $100 billion revenue. That's not profit. Profit's a mere, $50 billion or something. It's good money. Nice work if you can get it. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. I'd love to talk to you. If you have a question, a comment, a suggestion, anything you want to talk about, if it has to do with tech, that's what I'm here for. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. And, you know, I want to hear from everybody all over the world. So if you're outside that area, just use Skype. You'll be able to call. She's the hardest working woman in showbiz.
This one's been used before in the past.
Watch me now. It's Kim Schaffer, our unbreakable phone angel. Many have tried, but few have succeeded. We thought we'd try some different theme music just to mix it up. Hi, Kim.
Hi.
How are things?
Good.
Good.
I'm going to like the surprise every week.
Yeah, that's, I think,
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
That's how it used to be. And then I thought the Commodores were going to sue us for a couple years.
That one I didn't like. I felt that was demeaning of you. So you didn't mind it, but I
didn't mind it. Whatever.
I think we're going to play Helen Reddy, I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar.
No.
You'd rather have Brick House, wouldn't you?
No, I just, that's too slow for me. I need
like,
a little bit.
Watch me now. Watch me.
Yeah. I think Big Pee Wee used that one on me in the past.
We've been through many musical directors, but Laura, you cannot leave. They all get promoted. I mean, we should be fair.
Thing.
Yeah. Waiting for you to get the call.
She's like, no, I like this.
Yeah. Forever. Yeah. Well, who should I start with here? Speaking of calls,
let's go to Sue in Redondo Beach, and you know, I know how you like to spend other people's money. So
I want to spend Sue's money.
Sue's money.
All right, it's a segment at the time on the program we call "Spend Sue's Money." Hi, Sue. Leo Laporte.
Hey, Leo, you better watch out for that smart Kim, man. She knows some of the answers.
She does. She's been doing this show so long now. I could probably let her take over.
I know. Watch out.
Watch out. Watch me now.
Wow. Well, I wanted to ask you to give me some, maybe a company for a new laptop. I just sent one back that was pretty crummy. It was too small for me, and it had the speakers on the side, so I couldn't hear it. So I want a 17-inch. That I know.
Okay. What did you send back, just so I don't recommend it?
It was a Dell.
Oh, all right. Do they have 17 inches?
No, it was 15.
Yeah. You got did you get the XPS?
Yes.
Yeah, I really like those. You didn't like that, huh?
I did. Well, I couldn't hear it.
Well, to be fair, laptop speakers are not notoriously high quality.
I know. But something that where I don't have to put a horn in my ear.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. Yeah. Hey, what'd you say, laptop?
Yeah.
Hey? So I won't recommend. Dell does make a 17, but I won't recommend that.
Okay.
Let me think here. So it sounds like the key for you is good speakers. Was there anything else you didn't like about it?
Just the screen size, basically.
Yeah. And so you want a bigger one. You know, you're using it. I'm going to guess you're using it like a desktop. You don't carry it around or anything.
No, I leave it. I have an HP Envy, which I love, and I just want one for the back bedroom.
How's the sound on the Envy? Do you like that?
It's good.
Okay.
It's good, yeah.
Okay.
I do.
But you wouldn't want to get another Envy.
Well, I just, you know what? I got this from the big box store, and they don't sell them anymore, so I didn't even think of going online and looking for one.
Okay.
I guess I could duplicate it.
There is. I'm looking at an article. Let's see, when was this published? October's not so bad. Best laptops for audio enthusiasts. And I have their Apple's MacBook Pro, and I agree. The sound is very good on that. They actually have 6 speakers in that, which is crazy. But I'm trying to think on a Windows laptop, which ones have the best sound. The author of this article, Ashwin Nair, says that the Dell G3 3500 has a dual speaker system and surround sound. It's only a 15-inch display, though, so let's leave that one behind.
Okay.
And especially since was there anything else about the Dell you didn't like? I don't want to send you to Dell if you're not happy with Dell in general.
Not really. That was about it.
I think you like HP, don't you?
I do.
So HP does make 17-inch laptops. The only reason, I say it's a desktop replacement is I've had 17s and they're big. They're heavy. You don't want to carry them around much.
No, I just put it on the foot of the bed while I'm watching TV in my woman cave.
So they make an HP Envy 17-inch.
Okay.
If you like the sound on your Envy, those start at $800. They're not bad.
That's not bad.
Yeah. I think if you're happy with your Envy, and I think by the way, for years on this show, I told people never buy HP because they put too much junk on it and blah blah blah. But then remember they split into two. The HP Enterprise went one way and the HP Consumer went another. And ever since they've been making amazing laptops. And I have revised my recommendation. I think those Envies are quite nice. Now,
I love it. Well, can you tell me gigabytes? I think I went for, is it 12 or 16?
Well, sometimes you can get 12. Generally, it's 8 or 16 or more.
16.
And I would say 16's plenty.
Okay.
And they make an Envy with 16 gigs of memory. You can also get storage, depends on what how much you're going to keep on your laptop. If you want to keep movies that you're editing and a lot of music, and it sounds like you might put music on there since sound is important, you'd probably want to get a terabyte drive. So now we're getting in a little bit heftier price range. We're getting closer to almost $1,000 at that point. Okay. Is that too much? Is that too much for you?
That's about what I figured.
Okay.
Yeah.
You pay more for the bigger screen, obviously.
Okay. Sure.
So I would look now. You can at least browse at HP.com at their website.
Okay.
Store.hp.com, and I would look at the HP Envy 17-inch laptops. They come with fast processors. They actually come with graphics cards, which offloads the processor for graphics. I think they're really nice. I wouldn't hesitate recommending it.
I love it.
Yeah. Do you like, and especially since you already have one, so I know you like the keyboard, you like how the screen looks, you like all that stuff and the sound.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. I think it's a sharp looking machine.
Yeah. Then I would say have a matching Envy.
All right. Well,
why not?
I love it.
Thank you, Sue.
Okay.
Have
you.
a great day. Stay warm. It's getting a little chilly. It was so hot last week, and now it's getting a little cold. The big makers of computers, and mostly laptops are what people buy these days. They don't buy desktops as much. Are HP, Dell, and Lenovo, and then there's Apple. And they kind of all swap positions from time to time. But those are the big three, HP, Dell, and Lenovo. And I have no problem with any of them. I have some very nice Dell XPSs. I had some beautiful HPs. I like the Spectres because they were very thin and light. And if you want rock solid, built like a tank with great keyboards, I love the Lenovo ThinkPads. But they're not pretty. They're really they're almost industrial looking. But I love those too. One of the nice things, I think it's not true anymore, but until very recently, they were very upgradable too. You could replace the keyboard, the trackpad, the memory, the hard drive. That's changing everywhere in the laptop world. Because thinner and lighter, people want thinner and lighter, so everything's soldered in, and most of this stuff's not upgradable anymore. Alas. 8888 Ask Leo. Coming up, we're going to talk automobiles with our auto tech guru, Sam Abuelsamid. And he's going to talk about self-driving cars in just a little bit. You stay right here. It's time for me to tell you about Conga. If you are a company that is ready for digital transformation, remember for a long time we said paperless office was just around the corner. It's taken a while, but it is actually here. Conga is ready to help you evolve your operations, streamline your workflows, create and deliver digital documents, digital quotes, digital contracts more effectively. Conga, C-O-N-G-A, helps businesses digitally transform their commercial enterprises. All of their operations. Other companies may be stepping away from opportunities like this. Conga says, hey, this is a good time with work from home to keep moving forward. Those manual processes that, you in person, in office, come in, sign here. Here's the quote, sign here. No, that's kind of over, thanks to the pandemic. For that reason, a lot of businesses kind of said, you can't come in. We're going to limit contact. We're going to work from home. Look, we're going to go back eventually to the offices, but right now is a good time to get that digital transformation people have been talking about to actually get it started. It's more now than a pipe dream or an aspiration. It's actually kind of something you need. It's a non-negotiable requirement. And Conga is the best, most robust solution for digital document process and commercial excellence transformation. Their end-to-end digital document transformation suite, that's what you want to look at, can help you automate and optimize your daily documents and contracts to save time, to close business faster, to empower your teams to work with more purpose. Conga Composer is one of the tools that powers up customer engagement. With Composer, digital documents can be generated straight from Salesforce, quickly, error-free, because it's automatic every time. You can create beautiful templated documents directly from Salesforce, automate your templated documents so they're always built with the right data. Documents will be accurate because they're getting the data from the CRM, but not just, your CRM, any system of record. And because you're not hand inputting it, no errors. It'll deliver documents in a variety of formats by almost any method, store them wherever you want. They're kind of platform agnostic. Some of the advanced features for Composer Enterprise, you get real-time document notifications that reveal recipient engagement and make follow-up simple. They saw the contract. They saw the proposal. Did they sign it yet? What do they think? You call them. You say, hey, I know you saw it. With Conga Batch, you can consolidate, schedule, deliver the documents you create with your Composer. You choose how you want to launch it, how you want to send it, whether automatically or on demand, and even do so for multiple documents at once. Then there's an add-on that you're going to really like for Conga Composer. It's called Conga Trigger, and it'll let you create and distribute digital documents automatically directly from Composer and Salesforce without having even to click a button. So I'm setting up a client in Salesforce. I'm setting up the contracts. Boom, they're automatically distributed. Companies like T-Mobile for Business use Conga to save time and money. T-Mobile's sales reps didn't have the necessary key capability in their sales proposals. Their customers couldn't see the proposals in writing, or they had to create additional documents that were time-consuming, error-prone. With Conga Composer, T-Mobile's sales promotions have never been clearer, easier, or more beautiful. What's took as long as a day or two to file a case and request a ticket now happens like that, instantaneously. Sales teams avoid multiple systems. That's the worst. You're sitting here, you got to input it here. No. In fact, T-Mobile loves it so much they've seen a 25% increase in user adoption, and they're getting paid faster. Conga, Conga.com/twit. They're committed to improving how people do business at a much larger scale with additional resources. They know we're all in this together. You've been thinking about doing this. Now with work from home is a perfect time. Experience Conga's new brand. Have some fun at Conga. Yeah, there's a little trivia quest at Conga.com, Conga.com/twit. You could test your knowledge of trivia, share it on social. Conga will take the results and donate to a charity that's supporting COVID relief efforts. So everybody wins. Conga, Conga.com/twit. Thank you, Conga, for your support of the Tech Guy Show. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, our car guy, Sam Abuelsamid, principal researcher at Guidehouse Insights. He is also a car podcaster, the Wheel Bearings podcast, available at wheelbearings.media and wherever you listen to podcasts. Hello, Sam.
Hello, Leo. How are you this week?
I am great. How are you?
I am doing fine.
You did not win the Mega Millions, I hear.
No, sadly, for the 30th odd year, I've forgotten to buy a lottery ticket.
That means you've saved $30, Sam. Well done. Well done. Think of it that way. You're investing in your future or something.
That's right.
So, Sam, I see
put it somewhere else.
Every time Sam comes on, I see video because he uses Skype, so we see the video. And I see today that you are, behind you is some sort of weird kind of pillbox modular vehicle on the streets of San Francisco. What is that? What is that thing?
That is the Cruise Origin, which was unveiled actually just about exactly a year ago today.
This is a GM,
January 20th last year.
GM self-driving vehicle, right?
Yeah, it's so Cruise is the company that GM bought in 2016, I think, that is developing their automated driving system. And since then, Honda and SoftBank and some others have also invested in it. And the vehicle is the purpose-built robotaxi that GM and Honda have been developing together for Cruise. And when Cruise launches its commercial robotaxi service, this is the vehicle they intend to use. So, it's designed designed specifically to be a robotaxi rather than being an adaptation of an existing vehicle.
Well, it doesn't have a hood. It doesn't even look like it has a driver. Is there somebody in it?
Well, no, just passengers.
There's no safety
designed,
driver. It's just
no safety driver.
It's just a box on wheels, basically.
Yeah, and they first showed this off about a year ago, and it's got power sliding doors on the side, so pull right up to the curb.
This looks like something out of a sci-fi movie, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like a Johnny Cab. Back in December,
You're in a
Zoox
Johnny
showed
Cab.
off their version of the same thing, and there's a lot of companies developing similar kinds of vehicles. The idea here is because you don't need the human controls, you can maximize the space for passengers inside.
It's like a little living room. It looks like, yeah.
It is, yeah. It's got what they call carriage seating, so everybody's facing the center of the vehicle, so it's easy to get in and out of quickly. You can also adapt this. They showed a rendering of a version of this adapted with lockers, so you can make it like an Amazon locker on wheels for contactless delivery.
Oh,
So
that's interesting. Huh.
You can adapt it in a lot of different ways. The reason I have it up this week, though, excuse me, is there was an announcement earlier in the week that excuse me, Microsoft is investing in Cruise and partnering with Cruise. So they raised a new $2 billion funding round for Cruise this week.
Wow.
And Microsoft, along with GM, Honda, and the other existing investors all put in. So they didn't say how much Microsoft put in. We're guessing somewhere around $500 million of that $2 billion.
Holy cow.
But the other part of this is that Microsoft is going to be the preferred cloud provider for Cruise.
Oh.
So when you think about these vehicles, the way they're going to operate, obviously you have to have a cloud platform to dispatch and summon the vehicles. If you want to ride, if there's nobody driving the thing, they've got to be connected, and there's got to, just like today with an Uber or Lyft, there's a cloud platform that sends out messages to the drivers. Now it'll send out messages to the vehicles and say, hey, there's a passenger waiting at this location. Go pick them up and take them there. And so that's one piece of the puzzle. But there's also a whole lot of other cloud-related things that need to be done for these vehicles to work as a business. You've got to distribute updated software to the vehicles. Updated map information, traffic information. You're collecting data from the vehicles. As they're encountering situations that they may not have seen before. Some of that data is going to be fed back into the cloud, fed back to the engineers for future updates. And also, if they run into a situation where the system doesn't know what to do, if there's a construction zone or some other crash, and it's not sure, because by default the vehicles are designed to follow the rules of the road, to stick to speed limits, not cross double yellow lines. But sometimes they're going to encounter a situation where they're not sure what they should do, and so they can basically call home for help. And an operator, it'll stream the sensor data back to the operator in a control center.
Fast
like
enough that it could actually decide what to do, and will they be able to drive it?
Most companies are, they've experimented with remote driving, but that's not really a scalable solution, and it's also not necessarily reliable enough. So what they're doing is it's going to be fast enough to send back data so that the operator, the controller can gauge the situation and basically give hints to the vehicle and say, okay, in this scenario, you can cross this double yellow line to go around this double parked truck, that's dropping off.
It's okay. We give you permission,
like
in effect.
Exactly. Yeah. The kinds of things, the kind of judgment calls that we make all the time when we're driving.
What happens though? The self-driving vehicle just kind of sits there. This was a problem.
That has happened.
Yeah, this was a problem in Arizona where people were getting mad at the Waymo vehicles where they were testing them because they drove so cautiously. People got irate.
They follow the rules. They're designed to follow the rules, which we as humans don't.
When I drive the speed limit,
like doing.
People act like I'm an old man. They beep at me, they honk, they tailgate, and then they go around in front of me and flip me off just because I'm driving the speed limit.
Yeah.
Do they program these things to go over the speed limit a little bit just to avoid that?
Yeah, I mean, when I talk to most of the people at most of these companies, they're trying to program them to drive
Like
in
humans.
a natural manner.
Like humans,
safe, but to fit in with the flow of traffic.
Right.
But obviously there's challenges with that. You don't want to go too far over the speed limit. If traffic is going 20 miles an hour over the speed limit, if something happens, then they're they're liable for that.
If the trooper pulls you over, who gets the ticket?
The company that developed the system is going to get the ticket.
Oh wow, how interesting.
So they have to be careful about how they do this, and I think in most cases they're going to tend to stick close to the speed limit, but obviously they don't want to hold up traffic. And if you're the if you're the slowest vehicle in a flow of traffic, then you're increasing the risk of somebody crashing into you. Yeah. So it's safer.
I understand why all these companies are investing, because they got the money and they want to make sure they don't miss the next big thing. Microsoft almost missed the internet, so they want to make sure it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bet. That doesn't necessarily mean, oh yeah, this is definitely going to happen. We're betting, and they probably bet on a lot of different things.
Yeah.
I think there's a little issue though. I'm looking at this car. I don't know if humans are going to trust these things. What's your sense of that? Whenever I see polls of people, they say, I'm not getting in that thing.
Well, yes, you're right. Most of the surveys, when people that haven't been in one tend not to trust them.
Yeah.
But what they find is that, when they ask people, how do you feel about this technology? And then they take them for a ride in one, and they realize how it performs. Their attitudes tend to change quite a bit. So the reality is that almost nobody has actually tried one of these, so they don't know what to expect.
Yeah, I haven't. You have, right? Have you been in one?
I've ridden in many of them. Yeah,
but they all have safety drivers. I mean, now we're looking at a living room on wheels.
Well, I've ridden in some that without safety drivers.
Really?
Back in August, I went for a ride here in a vehicle with Yandex here in Ann Arbor, with no safety driver.
How long before these are on the road?
The Cruise Origin should be sometime next year, probably.
Really?
But Motional right now is actually testing vehicles in Las Vegas without safety drivers, and there's others around the world as well.
Sam Abuelsamid, he's our car guy. Listen to his podcast, wheelbearings.media, and he joins us every week. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Leo.
Makes me so nervous.
Yeah.
We don't like being out of control,
Right. Well, I forgot to mention, Waymo is actually doing paid rides in Arizona now.
I know they
with no safety drivers, but only in a very limited part of their service area. So they have
see
a
these
service
videos.
area.
People post them. Like, I took another ride with Waymo. Look, and it's like,
so about between 5 and 10% of the rides that they're doing right now in Chandler are without a safety driver, but they are being monitored. So they have somebody remotely monitoring what's going on that can step in and take control if necessary. But again, they have to get to a point where they don't have to monitor every single ride without a safety driver, because clearly that's not scalable. If somebody's got to monitor it all the time, you might as well just have them in the car driving it.
Right. So interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'll probably be something like at a CES, probably in Vegas or somewhere where I'll do this for the first time. I guess, Vegas is pretty predictable, likely. Pretty consistent.
Or in San Francisco, Cruise is operating in San Francisco.
San Francisco's hard to drive in.
I've ridden in the Cruise vehicles in San Francisco. I've ridden with Waymo in Mountain View. You got to keep in mind, they tend to go pretty slow. In those urban environments, nobody's going very fast anyway. The top speeds are typically no more than 25 or 30 miles an hour. So it's usually not too big of an issue. I've ridden with Argo in Miami. Miami's a pretty tough environment. So fortunately, when I rode with Yandex in Ann Arbor, there was, it was at a time in late August when there were no students back at U of M yet. There was very little traffic around. Still a lot of stuff was locked down, and that was a good thing because it had a couple of issues. They
keep track of fender benders, right? If there are.
Oh yeah. They in most places they're required to report any kind of incidents that happen, like in California.
And how bad is it? Are they pretty good? Are they probably better than humans? Are they now better than humans?
Yeah, I mean most of the incidents that happen, are actually usually caused by human drivers and other
doing
vehicles.
something stupid. Yeah.
It's pretty rare that the vehicles actually cause a crash.
The big issue for people is this feeling of loss of control. Like,
Right.
I'm getting in this thing and it's going, and I don't control it. I can't. And I think that's something they're gonna have to. It's gonna be interesting to see how people get over
and this
that.
is one of the issues they're working on. In addition to the core technology of how do you drive the vehicle.
kid's steering wheel, so you can go like this.
Well, there's the whole user experience component of this, and I should talk about this next week. But one of the things you find in these vehicles is there's a display screen that shows you. Here's all the things that the sensors are seeing.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
So as you look around and you see that pedestrian on the sidewalk, you look at the screen, you see, okay, the car is seeing that pedestrian.
Yeah, that
or
would be
seeing
helpful.
that vehicle beside me. And that helps to build the trust.
Do they feel like they're driving hesitantly?
In some cases, yes. So it varies. It depends. Every system's a little bit different. Almost none of them tend to drive very aggressively.
Right.
But, that level of aggression, it's part of that trying to develop naturalistic driving. Brian Selesky, the CEO of Argo, he talks about this concept of naturalistic driving, so that it feels like what a person would do, but safer and fits into the flow of traffic around the vehicle.
It's wild. All right, Sam, have a great day. Stay warm.
All right, you too.
All right.
I will. It's a cold one here in Michigan this weekend.
Yikes. All right.
It was, I think, 18 this morning when I went to walk Daisy.
Sounds awful.
All right.
All right. Take
Talk
care,
to you next
Sam.
week.
Thanks. Bye. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask. Leo is my phone number. I would love to hear from you if you have a question. You want to talk high tech? That's what we're going to do right now with Adam in Putnam Valley, New York. Hello, Adam.
Leo, how are you?
I'm great. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You helped me out a few times. Last time, 2013, and picking out a computer for my son for graduation gift.
Oh, that's a long time ago, but I bet it felt like it went pretty quick.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He finally put it to pasture just a few months ago, and he built his own.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, what can I do for you this time?
Yes. Here's my situation. So
Yes.
I have an old 2007 iMac that I want. It's still good, and it just will not go on the internet anymore. It's not powerful enough. But I want to use it as a photo display. I'm now using a 2013 iMac that's Catalina operating system.
Yeah.
It will not show the library from Photos app to the iPhotos app that's on the old system.
Oh.
What can I do?
So you both systems need to be on the same iCloud account, the same Apple account.
Right.
So make sure that that's the case on both of them. You can do that in the system preference pane under accounts. If they're both on the same one and you open up your on the old computer, the 2007 model, if you open up Photos, you can check to see if it's fully synchronized, if it's up, they call it updated. It'll say right at the bottom, updated or updating. It takes a while, but it will upload them all. Now, you may have to go into the settings and say, I want to use the iCloud photo library before it'll do that. So, in fact, I'm guessing that's what happened, is that on that machine, Photos is set. It's actually, for that age of a machine, it's called iPhotos. That iPhotos is set not to synchronize with iCloud. So let me just check. I think you do that in the preferences of Photos. But if not, there's see, I'm looking at a more modern one. But you want to turn on iCloud Photos. Make sure that that's on. It will, I'm looking at it right now, says automatically upload and store all your photos and videos in iCloud so you can access them from any of your devices and on the web. And that's exactly what you want.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Right. Here's the thing. I do have iCloud, but I don't have photos on it. For one thing, is that I have 37,000 photos in my iMac. If I will go ahead and upload all that, it costs me an arm and a leg. So I was thinking I'd take an external hard drive.
Yes, you can do that. So what you want to do is you can manually move it over, but you're going to find immediately that where are those photos? So what you have to do is you right-click the iPhotos library file. There's a big file. You'll know it's where your photos are because it's big. And if you right-click on it, you can select Show Contents because it's not actually a file. The iCloud photo library or iPhotos library is actually a folder. And inside there's a folder, if you show contents, called Original Photos. That's where the originals that you uploaded are stored. And you could just take that whole folder, copy it over to an external drive, then move over to your new computer, plug that external drive in, open Photos on that new one, and import the contents of that original Photos file, and it'll all be part of your library.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. I should have asked you. You're not storing it in iCloud. Well, it won't do it automatically, but you can do it manually.
Right. It will recognize, because that's using Tiger. It will recognize the iPhotos app or the
Well, that's why you're not copying the library. Well, it might actually. You might be able to just copy the library, but I suspect what you're going to want to do. Well, here's the thing. If you want to get all the modifications you made to those photos on the Tiger machine, you know, all the editing you did and all that stuff, that's stored separately from the original photos in another file. If you want all of those, yeah, you're probably going to want to open the iPhotos library. So in that case, copy the iPhotos library, the entire folder, over to the external drive, and you can do an import. And I can't imagine that Apple, this is something people do all the time, is they migrate from an older version of the operating system to a new one. I would, if they don't, then they've really blown it. But Photos should be able to see, recognize, and import everything from that iPhotos library. So yeah, if you want the modifications, you should take the whole thing.
Now this is going backwards, though. This is going from the new system.
Oh, you're going the other way. Oh, if you're going new to old, that may not work because, of course,
exactly.
The new formats are not. So in that case, the original Photos is the right answer because that's the photos as taken. That's the JPEGs and the other, photos as taken, and you can import those directly into the Tiger machine. Yeah, you're right. If you're going from Catalina to Tiger iPhotos is not going to know what the heck it's looking at. I don't think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, it won't.
Yeah. So in this case, that's where it comes in handy to know that inside that iPhotos, or in this case, Photos library, there is a folder called Original Photos. That's not an Apple format or anything. Those are the original photos as imported.
Right.
So be in effect as if you're going back to the camera or whatever and importing it again.
Okay. And I'm going to lose the metadata doing that, though, right?
Yeah, you will lose anything you've added. Yeah, and I don't know of any way to keep that.
That's what that's true. All right. All right.
There might be, this would be a pain in the butt, but I'm sure that Apple Photos, you could export all of those. That's a lot of photos, but you could export them. And it might, if you do that, export both the original and the edited version. In fact, I bet it would.
Okay.
So in that's going to be a pain, but you could do that too. I always start with the originals and figure if I want to recreate those edits, I'll do that.
All right. Okay, good deal. I'll give it a shot.
All right, nice to talk to you. What's your son doing now?
He's a mechanical engineer. Nice.
Well, no wonder he built his own machine. He probably needs a heavy-duty system for that.
Yeah, all he does is game on it, though.
Oh. Well, yeah. That's, it's hard right now being a gamer because those gaming graphics cards that everybody wants are in such short supply. In fact, Newegg, where a lot of people get their equipment for building their own computers, actually does a lottery. Now, if you go to Newegg and say, well, I want the newest NVIDIA card, they say, all right, you can enter the lottery. Good luck. There's such short supply. Right. This is part of an overall chip shortage that we're all suffering from. Right. Anyway, nice to talk to you, Adam. Have a great day.
Thanks again, Leo.
My pleasure. Yeah, Apple, it's funny. Apple's philosophy is it just works, right? They say it all the time. It just works. Trademark, registered trademark, Apple computer. It just works. Except it just works means we do it, we'll handle it. Don't you worry your pretty little head about a thing. So if you want to do anything kind of not right down the alley, if you want to do something a little odd or non-traditional, like for instance, go backwards in time, Apple won't just work. It won't work at all. And then they don't really make it that easy to figure out, well, what's going on? Because the whole idea, their whole philosophy is hide the ugly parts from users so that they can live in a pretty world. But when you hide the ugly parts of anything from people, that in some ways it disempowers them, right? Oh, don't worry about how your car works. It's okay. It'll just work until it doesn't. Then you have to get a mechanic because you have no idea. You have no idea. I guess this is kind of a modern problem for all of us. We live in a world where I don't know how any of this stuff works. How does this work? 8888 Ask Leo, website techguylabs.com. Somebody in the chat room, Boz, says, it's a slogan, not a promise. That's a good point. It just works. Unless it doesn't. In which case, get a mechanic. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smart watches, all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo, 888-827-5536 if you want to talk high-tech with me. We get a lot of calls. We did, actually, last year, towards the end of the year, because people had seen that Adobe Flash was going away. You know, that's the technology that gave you dancing monkeys on the internet for so many years. In fact, when YouTube first started out, the videos on YouTube were in Flash. But Adobe kind of ran into some headwinds with Flash. For one thing, it was kind of notoriously insecure. People had all sorts of security issues with it. But for another thing, Apple, Steve Jobs, who kind of had an axe to grind with Adobe for other reasons, published a open letter on the front page of Apple.com way back in 2010 saying, we're not going to support Flash on our iPhones or on our iPads because we don't like it. It's a pig. It's slow. That was 10 years ago. It took 10 years to finally kill Flash. And December 31st, Flash went away. Adobe stopped using it. And we got a lot of calls from people saying, what am I going to do? What my website is going to work and my game. And I think by now, probably it's only the oldest sites that haven't been updated in years that are still using Flash. And frankly, those probably won't ever be updated. They're abandonware. But most sites, I mean, YouTube stopped using Flash years ago. Funny story, though. There's a railway system in northern China, Dalian, that was running on Flash. The whole railway system. We've known since 2017 that Flash was going away, but apparently whoever is running this railway system, the China Railway Shenyang, wasn't paying attention. By the way, Flash is a programming language. I guess you could do things like run a railway on it. I wouldn't want to, but you could. So for 20 hours, the railroads in Dalian in Liaoning province in China, northern China, weren't running. Staffers couldn't view train operating diagrams. They couldn't set up scheduling. They couldn't arrange shunting. Basically, everything stopped. How'd they fix it? They got a pirated version of Flash and they installed it at 4:30 in the morning. Everything started working again. That's probably the most extreme example of we're not giving up Flash ever. They're running a pirated version of Flash. Oh my. Back to the phones we go. Jesse, Ontario, California. Hi, Jesse. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hello.
Hello?
Hey, you're on the air. Hi. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say Jesse? Jose. I misread that. I apologize. Hi, Jose.
No problem. Thanks for taking my call, Leo.
My pleasure.
I have a problem. I was working on a project for work, and I finished my project, closed the computer.
Uh-oh.
Went to work the next day.
Uh-oh.
Says I've been blocked off Google. Now, I work at a school where they use Chromebooks, but because of the audio and video, I used my personal laptop, which doesn't have the problems that all the Chromebooks are having. But the problem is that all of a sudden I can't access Google.
So the thing you were working on was on Google Docs in your account, and they've kicked you off of Google. Do you know why? Did they give you a reason?
No, well, at first the two messages pop up. One says firewall, blah blah blah, and real quick it's only up for just like 2 seconds. And so I made sure that all my Defender's off, ESET is off, VPN is off, and it still won't allow me. I try to do updates on ESET, and it can't connect because there's no internet. It says my system appears to be configured correctly, but for some reason Google isn't going through.
Oh, so it's not that Google's not letting you log in necessarily. Could you check your Gmail?
No.
Can't do that either.
Can't do anything with Google. I mean, I can go to my desktop that I have in another room. I can access Google. I can go.
So it's that computer. So the first thing to do is make sure that computer's time and date is correct. Can you?
Oh. Okay. Let's see. Well,
if it's 1970, you got a problem. So the reason that's important, and sometimes this happens with computers, they forget what time and date it is, usually because the battery that backs that stuff up is old and has failed. Mm-hmm. If the time and date is wrong, the certificates that verify that you're on the right site won't work because they are approved for a certain period of time, usually from now on it's going to be 1 year, but even at most 5 years. And when your clock fails, it goes way back. On early DOS machines, it went to 1904. On Unix machines, it goes back to 1970. So check, is your time and date correct?
It says January 24th, 2021.
Okay. So it's not that. That's always the first thing to check. And everybody listening, keep that in the back of your mind. Because if all of a sudden the internet stops working, that's often why. So that's not it. If you are on that machine, your browser, can you go to other sites and log in and use them normally?
No, I tried going on DuckDuckGo.
Oh, okay.
Firefox, nothing.
Okay.
Same
okay.
problem.
So here's the good news. You haven't lost anything. It's just that computer.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting worried because I hate it when you work on a project for hours and then suddenly you can't access it. It's gone. And it is, it's probably good, a little warning that, when you're using Google or Facebook or, somebody else's, system, those are all very nice and convenient, those cloud systems. But it can happen that your account, for whatever reason, gets canceled. Doesn't happen that often, but if it did and it was in error, you would lose access to whatever is stored in that cloud. So it's always good to put stuff in more than one place. This is just this computer, and it sounds like you had a lot of security software running on that computer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that sounds like that might be related to the issue. So
because I've turned it off.
You've turned off all the security software. Tell me what you've got running. You said a VPN and ESET, the antivirus?
I had ESET, and I had a VPN, and then I never turned on Defender. And that, excuse me, and as far as I know, that's the only
so
security I have.
Something's messed up, obviously, with your internet access. One thing you could try is, it's Windows?
Yes.
Windows 10?
8.
8. Windows 8? That could be part of the problem. That could be part of the problem. I mean, I don't think end of life of Windows 8 would do this, but that could be part of the problem. I would, it could go into, I guess you go into safe mode maybe and see if things are working better there. Do safe mode with networking so that you can try your browser. It will look awful, because safe mode turns off all the drivers. One of the things, it'll turn off any background security software as well.
Okay.
So I would try safe mode with networking and see if it's all working there. So, you shut down completely, hold down the shift key, and then turn the machine on and keep holding the shift key until you get that boot menu and then choose safe mode with networking.
Okay.
I think that I would say that that's something going on. Obviously, with your network stack, it's very common. Security software does this. It's one of the reasons I don't recommend third-party security software most of the time. The good news is you haven't lost anything. In fact, this is one of the advantages of working in Google. You can go to that other computer, log into your Google account. There's what you were working on. So that's a relief. It just sounds like that machine's messed up. And, ultimately, one of the things you might want to do is put Windows 10 on it. And you can do that free. Microsoft offered it for the first year of Windows 10. If you have Windows 8.1, I think you have to have. You can't, not 8.0, but if you have Windows 8.1, you download, go to the Microsoft's website, Microsoft.com, search Microsoft Windows Media Creation Tool. You can download and put Windows 10 on a USB key. Tell the machine to boot to that USB key. You'll get a Windows installer, and you can install Windows 10 on top of Windows 8, 8.1 anyway. And it shouldn't cost you anything. That might fix the whole thing. I wouldn't be surprised. There's lots of other things that could go wrong. I mean, I could go through a list of, your network card could be messed up, your cable, your Wi-Fi, all sorts of things could be messed up. So, but I would try a few things. And this maybe is a good time to go to Windows 10. Windows 8 is pretty old and honestly pretty bad. That's my opinion. Leo, you shouldn't express an opinion. All right, it's just my opinion. Pretty bad. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Mike B in our chat room, one of our regulars, says, my Mac Pro is dying. What do I do? Oh, that's a tough one because you don't want to buy the new Mac Pro. It's very expensive. And it's Intel, which, in the long run, Intel's not going to be around much longer for Macs. They're all moving to the Apple Silicon. The rumor is on the Mac Pro that Apple, and it'll be probably, I don't know if it'll be this year. Might be 2022. But Apple will do new Mac Pros based on its own chips, the Apple Silicon. They will be very interesting chips. I'm going to predict maybe as much as 64 cores. They'll be insane, these chips. But the rumor is interesting. Apple recognizing that a lot of pros, we talked to somebody last week who, uses audio editing software that requires, and it won't even work on Big Sur, requires the previous version of Mac OS X and will not work on anything but Intel. And, for that person, if you're using Pro Tools, you pretty much want an Intel Mac Pro. And you want to keep running that for some time. So Apple, the rumor is, will make a Mac Pro running on Intel. And will also make a Mac Pro with this new Apple Silicon chip, but it'll be as half the size. It'll be mini-me because these chips are so efficient. They don't need the power supplies, the cooling. Everything is simpler. You can run a little, and I would love a little cute little, the beautiful Mac Pros. They look like cheese graters, giant cheese graters, and they're really expensive, but they're beautiful. I don't need one. I didn't buy one, obviously, but I might buy a little mini one. It'd be cute, half size. To answer your question, Mike B, you're kind of stuck because none of this is going to happen till late this year at the earliest. So now the question is, well, what do you get? Do you want to get? I would not get, if you need the power of a Mac Pro, I would not get one of the current M1 Macintoshes. Those are really fairly low end. I mean, I love it. It's fast. It's in some respects faster than the high end Mac Pros. But I would say probably in May, or maybe even sooner, maybe even as early as March, Apple will release even faster ones, higher end MacBooks, and even, there's a rumor, a redesigned iMac sometime in the first half of this year. So wait as long as you can, I guess. It depends what you need to do. That's a tough one. If you're desperate now, that's a tough one. 8888 Ask Leo. John's on the line from Nashville, Tennessee. Hello, John.
Hello, Leo. I have an issue with my new ATSC 3.0 DVR tuner.
Oh, you have ATSC. You're one of the markets where Nashville's one of the markets where they're doing ATSC 3, huh?
Yes, except for two networks, PBS and NBC. All the others, major ones at least, are all in 3.0.
So this is next gen TV. ATSC is the standard for over-the-air broadcasting. So the broadcasters who are still doing antennas and over-the-air broadcasting are looking with jealous interest at what people are doing over the internet. They're trying to save their businesses, so they've got this new ATSC 3.0 that does a lot of new things. What's going on? What's not working?
The entire 3.0 side of it. It does 1.0 as well, but it also does two tuners. It's got 4 tuners total. All 4 will run 1.0 mode, or 2 of the tuners will do 3.0. And all of the 3.0s, when I try to set recordings, well, not set any recording on the 3.0, it reverts to 1.0, and I don't know what that is.
I don't either. Welcome to the world of the early adopter. Yeah. We don't even, in most of the country, we don't even have broadcasters using this new standard. So you get to be a guinea pig. If there's anybody listening who knows about ATSC 3.0 and maybe why it wouldn't work with his DVR, why the DVR reverts to 1.0, the DVR you're using is designed for ATSC 3, I take it.
Yeah, it's the Silicon Dust Home Run Connect 4K.
Oh, I love those. Yeah. I'm a big fan of the Silicon Dust. I wonder if the file format that you're getting is incompatible, or this is clearly a call to Silicon Dust and say, hey, dudes, what's the deal with ATSC 3.0? I don't know anything about it because, well, it's on my distant, far out there radar. This is always why being an early adopter is tricky. On the other hand, it's also part of the reason I bet you why you do this, right, John? You like to be have the latest and greatest and play with this stuff, and so I'm not. I really don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. I am not. I have to say, having spent some time talking with people from Sinclair, who they're going to launch ATSC on their broadcast stations, ATSC 3, and I am not overly impressed with it. It is one of those, yeah, we're going to try to keep up. I mean, UHD is the biggest deal. 4K, right? You got a 4K HD home run recorder, so it should handle it, but maybe it can't decode it as 4K. I mean, this is early days. Early days. Anybody knows? 8888 Ask Leo. You can also, after the fact, you can go to our website, techguylabs.com, and leave a comment. Hour number 2, episode 1765. You just leave a comment there if you've got a good idea. Chris Marquardt, photo guy, coming up next. We'll have more with the Tech Guy podcast in just a little bit, but first a word from our sponsor. I love IT Pro TV. I feel a little warm place in my heart because Tim Broom and Don Pizzette, the founders, I feel a responsibility for IT Pro TV. They were IT trainers, classroom style, traditional IT trainers for a long time. When they saw a panel that I was on at the NAB show, this must have been 7 years ago, and they said, what if we did IT training like TWiT does podcasts, like from a studio, and we train people and that kind of thing. And I have to say, that's what they did, and they have completely surpassed us. They now have 7 studios. I kept saying 5. When we went out to visit them in Florida at Gainesville, they had 5. They now have 7 full-time studios, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. They're making incredible content. You can watch live just like us. You can chat with them live just like us. But the content is different because it's about IT. And I'll tell you what, this is a great time if you've been thinking about getting into the IT business. There couldn't be a better time. The need for IT professionals now is through the roof in every area of IT. Security, networking, desktop support, everything. I guess that's because of the pandemic. You got people working from home. There's just this huge need. Have you been thinking about getting into IT? There is no better place to start than IT Pro TV. January, in fact, is getting started with IT Month at IT Pro TV. It's a great time to start a new career in the IT industry, which is continuing to grow even during COVID, maybe especially during COVID. This month, they've got 2 webinars for budding IT pros. There's a free training weekend with 5 courses available at no charge, plus tons of free videos on their YouTube channel, all about starting a new career. Now, IT Pro TV is not just for people starting out in IT. If you're an IT professional now, they've got so many useful courses and videos that will help you get better at your job or get a new skill or even get a new, better job. In fact, a lot of businesses have IT training, team training from IT Pro TV. So whether it's plans for business or a personal plan to help accelerate your IT career, IT Pro TV's got it all. You get training in Microsoft, Cisco, Apple, Linux, and more. You can earn IT certifications while improving your IT skills. They have over 5,800 hours of absolutely current IT training. That's one of the reasons they have all those studios. You know, software changes, the test questions change. There's always a need to update this stuff. Their stuff is fresher than anybody's because they're constantly updating it. And by the way, with the best trainers who are pros in the field, but also excellent communicators, they'll keep you entertained and informed. That's just what you want. You can watch it anywhere on your big screen TV, on your laptop, on your phone. They have Roku apps, Apple TV apps, Fire TV apps, every app for every platform, so it's as convenient as it can be. They're the only official video training partner for CompTIA, so if you're interested in getting one of those really great certs that often are the first cert you need to get into the business, like A+ or Security Plus or Network Plus, they've got the training for that. And by the way, their training coaches are great, whether you're worried about what kind of IT am I going to do, they can help you, design a career path, or if maybe you're just confused or worried about staying on track, these coaches are fantastic. And of course, IT Pro's team is second to none. A good way to start, besides the free videos on YouTube and all that, they've got a great podcast. Don Pizzette does his own show called TechNado, free. It's wherever you can get your podcasts. Features industry guests, IT news recaps. It's a deeper dive into the IT realm. A great listen for people who are interested in the biz or who are in the biz. Now you can look forward to a successful new year with a new career in IT or a better job or more skills. It's the best IT education around. Go to itpro.tv/twit. Use the offer code TWIT30. You'll get 30% off any consumer subscription for as long as you stay active. For years, as long as you're staying active, 30% off. TWIT30 is the offer code at itpro.tv/twit. IT Pro TV. Build or expand your IT career and enjoy the journey. Thank you, IT Pro TV. They've been with us since the very beginning, and we're big fans. itpro.tv/twit. So I'm trying out Capture One. What do you think of that? I want to get off the Adobe platform. I'm just hating it.
I haven't used it, but so Lightroom is kind of the last holdout.
I know. Me. Well, you even wrote a book on it. I mean, you're the Lightroom king.
Capture One is good. I mean, no doubt about it. A lot of people use it. A lot of people like it.
You know what I'm ending up doing?
But I haven't really.
I'm ending up in the Apple system, basically. And it's just what happens with you if you're using a lot of Apple stuff. Eventually, you just kind of get sucked into their vortex, and because it's just the easiest thing to do. So, there's 2 things I need. There's the editing, but there's a lot of good choices for editing, and then but mostly it's the digital asset management, the catalog, the library.
Yes.
And actually, I'm just saying, I'm just going to use photos.
I'm still living in 2 worlds here. Yeah,
if you have Windows, Photos doesn't help.
And iCloud for all the Apple stuff.
Yeah. The nice thing is I can import everything, including RAWs, into Photos. And then everything on my Mac that I add, whether it's, Luminar or Affinity Photo or Pixelmator Pro, you just hit the edit button and you have a drop down of all the things and you can edit it in there and it exports it and imports it back. So it's actually a pretty good dam.
I still hope that Serif is finishing their.
Are they going to do a dam for Affinity?
They have been working on one. They have confirmed a couple of years ago already that they were working on something, but that's not something you write in a year. I mean, that's
no. In fact, Skylum has been promising a dam.
Oh yeah, that never worked out. I live in the outside of Lightroom. I live in the Serif Affinity.
I think that stuff's great.
Universe.
Yeah.
Oh, I use it every day. It's fine. It does everything I need to do, and it's fast. It's
Capture One has a good raw engine. Yeah. It works well with both my Leicas and my Sonys. I had it. It was part of the Sony. I had it for Sony anyway, but I just thought, well.
You know, for me, it's the decision is also a bit. Do I trust something that's been on the market for 10 years, or do I move all my stuff over to something else, or do I start fresh?
Well, that's why I'm looking at Capture One.
Survive for 5 or more years.
Capture One has been around forever. So
I've been around for a while. That's true.
So I feel like it's expensive. It's $200 for the upgrade. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. If you want the Pro version that covers everything. Yeah,
that has all the raw.
You have too many cameras. That's your problem.
I know.
Otherwise you could get away with the cheaper version.
Yeah, I just want to. The Sony's fine, but I wanted to use it for the Leica too. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I think I'm just. Because I'm not using Windows. Linux would be nice. That's the problem. I would like to use Linux. And there's some really good photo editing tools on Linux. So I just don't know. I just don't know what to do. I want to simplify my
I do not
workflow.
have the
There's no answer.
I do not have the answer for you, unfortunately.
No, there's no answer. TI83 in the chat room has been using Capture One for commercial photo shoots since 2007. And he says, great for fast tethering. Yeah, I don't care about tethering. That's not an issue for me. It's really the catalog, the management thereof. I shoot in RAW, and I want to be able to catalog fast. It's time, my friends, for our photo sensei, my teacher, if you will. Chris Marquardt is our teacher. He's a wonderful professional photographer. He is also a photo sensei himself at Sensei, SENESEI.photo. That's where he does coaching and has classes, and it's great to talk to you. Chris, of course, used to do these great photo workshops, these traveling workshops, and I can't wait to get back on the road so I can do one of them. Meanwhile, here we are in the Viewfinder Villa. Hi, Chris.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. We've been. I love the lessons that you've been doing, teaching us kind of technique by technique to get better at photography. And this doesn't require fancy camera. It's really all about, in this case, composition and thinking about what you're looking at.
Yeah, or being at the right spot at the right time. I mean, it really. I mean, we want to pick out one new thing today, and I've talked about this in the past, but now I've sent you a gallery, and people can pick that out on your website. So we want to look at a few pictures and talk about volumetric light.
And this is a timing thing. You've got to be at the right time of day in the right place.
Yeah. It's one of those things. If you see it, you better have a camera with you because it won't be there 10 minutes later.
That's what has always bugged me about really good photographers like you. You always seem to be at the right place in the right time. I don't know what it is.
Or you make sure you are at the right point at the right time. I mean, sometimes you can't really plan that. But let's talk about volumetric light, because light can have a shape, and light gets a shape by several things. How does that work? Well, particles in the air scatter light. That's pretty much what it does. And then they light up, and then you see the light or the rays of light. And if there's enough of these particles, then they make light visible. A good example is clouds. They are a good example is clouds. They are water particles in the air. But what I want to talk about are is these light phenomena that are a bit less solid, like a cloud. A bit more ephemeral, where you can see the surroundings and everything, but the light still has like kind of a clear presence beyond just lighting things up. It's there. It has a shape, and of course, it needs particles in the air. So we're talking mist, rain in the air. If you've ever seen a laser show, you know that that needs particles in the air, and those particles are tiny little droplets of fog. So if you look at a laser show, there's a fog machine on a concert, the light on stage. I mean, they use fog machines to fill the room with tiny particles, so you can see the light, and it looks more interesting.
Yeah.
Light, volumetric light takes the contrast down in a picture very often because the light now kind of brings the blacks up. It makes the blacks less black, which is interesting. You can find that phenomenon outside sometimes early morning, like if you have mist over the fields, for example, and then a sunrise coming in.
This is in a forest, young woman looking up, and because it's misty, the sunlight is captured, and it's so beautiful. That's so beautiful.
So a point light source helps, like the sun very much helps, especially when it's shining through vegetation, and you end up with with these rays coming towards you.
Yeah.
If those are in the clouds, they're often called God rays because
they come.
Looks like the angels are going to start to sing any minute now.
Oh. Yeah.
And of course, fog is another manifestation of that phenomenon, which I'm personally such a fan of fog anyway because it removes detail in pictures. It takes backgrounds out, so you end up with much simpler photos.
But you mentioned it's low contrast, and that's exactly this forest image is kind of low contrast. I kind of like high contrast photos.
Well, it does have high contrast if you look at the corners, if you look at the edges, the trees are very dark, but then where the mist is, the contrast comes down and you see those trees be a bit more grayish. They don't have as much, they aren't as solid anymore. So the light kind of takes some of that away.
These tend to be very, I call them emotional. There's a feeling you get from these photos, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So here's another fog
dust is another one.
Oh, dust. Let's see some dust.
Dust is another one. For example, very good example right here on the screen is Antelope Canyon, which there's so many pictures of Antelope Canyon out there. And the reason is because there used to be tours you can take, and they would like have groups of 10, 15, 20 people go through these canyons with a guide, and the guide would throw a hand of dust in the air when the sun was shining through.
Funny.
So you have a lot of very similar photos out there.
Yeah.
They stopped doing these tours because it was a bit too crowded, and
it's probably wearing the rock away. It's so beautiful. Yeah.
But the photo, I mean, you need particles in the air. So the guide would take a handful of dust from the ground and throw it up, and it would make these light streaks from where the sun would peek in.
You told me to do that when I was in Jordan, seeing Petra, the ancient city carved into the stone. But there were so many.
There's nothing wrong doing that.
Well, I couldn't. There were so many tourists, I couldn't do it. And the light wasn't right either. You have to have a kind of the right light, right?
So as you said earlier, you kind of have to be at the right spot at the right time. So you have to know where the light is going to fall. Of course, with God rays in the sky, there's no planning for that, and other than knowing there's clouds out and it might happen. But for a misty day, or for if you need the sun to shine through a certain hole in a rock and then be there at the time, that's what you can plan for.
Right.
There's software for that, so that will tell you what angle the sun will be at what time of day. So
yes, they call that ephemeris, don't they? And there are a number of ephemeris.
TPE is kind of the most famous one. There's another one I like. It's called photo pills, as in the pills you take. Photo pills.
And there's a website too, the TPE, the photographer's ephemeris.
Yep.
And you could say, I'm going to be at this location. What time, where is the sun going to be at that time? What time is a good place
to be? Or you
be?
can say, I want the sun at that angle. When do I have to be there?
Ah. See, these
so you
tricks.
Can plan your photo tours.
Although I remember being in Australia with Peter Krogh, one of my favorite photographers, and the National Geographic photographer, Bruce Dale. And we went to a beautiful area and we waited. Bruce set up his camera, he set up his tripod, and he said, let's have lunch because we're going to wait.
And of course, that's also a good approach to have kind of the ballpark there. But then, of course, you need all the other things to fall into place too for that perfect shot. So that's why you will spend time in places, even arrive early, be there, set everything up, kind of plan the shot out, and then
do you pre-visualize? Do you think in your head what you're looking for and wait for that to happen?
A bit, and I usually do it when I'm there. I don't really plan ahead of time, like days before. But when I'm there, I look at what I have, and then I get a pretty good idea of what I can get. Comes from the experience, and then after a while, and then I try to aim for what I see there.
We are taking photos in our assignment this month of vintage. Whatever that means to you, vintage. If you've got a great image, you can do one a week. Make sure they're new ones. We don't want old ones. This is really just an excuse to get out there and take photos. Doesn't matter if you have a fancy camera or a camera phone. But get a photo of the word, the idea, the concept vintage, and upload it to Flickr, our photo sharing site, flickr.com. We have a tech guy group there. If you tag it TG Vintage, our moderator, Renee Silverman, will know. And Chris is going to pick 3 vintage photographs from that gallery and review them next week or the week after. What do you think?
I think next week sounds good.
All right. So we got one more week to get a vintage photo. That's Chris Marquardt. He's at sensei.photo, and joins us every week. Thank you, Chris.
Always a pleasure.
Yay. These are beautiful images. We'll put them on the show notes. TechGuyLabs.com. Just gorgeous. You know, there's Luminar software will do this. In fact, it did it to me and I didn't even know it. I had a picture and I went, wow, I didn't realize I got such a good shot. And I think the Luminar, I don't know. I'll have to go back and see if I can find the original. This was up on the...
Did they add something or...
I was in the Parthenon. And I don't remember that sun going through the crack there like that. I think it added it.
That sun might have been there. I think that's totally plausible. But the rays, I think they don't look like they came from the lens.
It's so bright up there that I'm thinking the sun was really there. But Luminar said, "Let's put it here." I don't know. I have to see if I can find that original.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's possible.
Yeah.
That's possible too. Yeah.
That's one of the things the new Luminar does, the Luminar AI, that'll change the sky. Say, what do you want, a moody sky? What kind of sky do you want? It does a good job, but
it serves a purpose. It serves a function. And I wouldn't use it, but I know that people
you
enjoy
don't
that.
need to. That's why. You're good enough. You don't need to.
Yeah, no, I think it makes me feel better if I know that I took the picture.
Yeah, me too. That one snuck by because I saw it. And I thought, oh wow, I didn't realize it got those rays. But now that I look at it, I think
I'd be interested in the comparison with the
see if I can find the
original.
Yeah, I'll try to find the original.
That would be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's probably not as good.
What lens was that?
It was the Sony. It's probably the 24.
I don't think it does these kind of streaks. Yeah. Streaks are every lens has its own fingerprint in terms of the streaks that it makes.
Yeah.
That doesn't really.
It looks fake.
Does not compute.
Does not compute. Oh well. Oh, well. All right, my friend. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Stay warm. Is it freezing?
Yeah, but not snowing. England is snowy.
Yeah, I saw some beautiful images from somebody in England.
Crazy. We don't have any snow where I live.
Yeah.
Nothing.
That's too bad. If it's cold, you should get snow. That seems only fair. Take care. Have a good night. Thanks,
See you next week.
Bye-bye. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 88 Ask Leo. Jim's on the line from Dana Point, California. Hello, Jim.
Hi, Leo. Thanks for taking my call.
Well, thanks for hanging on. I appreciate it. What can I do for you, sir?
Well, I have a comment rather than a question.
Awesome. I love comments. I love them.
Everyone's talking about cutting cable.
Yeah.
But many people are reluctant because you can't get local TV stations, ABC, NBC, et cetera, unless you sign up for the premium YouTube TV packages. But I found a free streaming service called Locast.
Yeah.
That broadcasts all the local stations and all of their derivatives, like MeTV, Get TV, Bounce, and all of those.
That's right.
And it's basically free, except they ask you for donations throughout the programs. But if you sign up to donate $5 a month, they don't even ask you for donations anymore.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of interesting, and I never hear people talk about it.
I have mentioned it. I keep waiting for them to get sued out of existence. Right now, they're in a variety of markets,
right?
But not everywhere. So the first thing you should do is go to Locast, LOCAST.org, and see if it's available in the market that you're looking for. But it is, they announced this week they have 2.3 million people paying that $5 a month. Right. So that's legit. The weird thing is it's partially owned by the broadcasters, and yet it also has been sued by the broadcasters. So I don't, when I first found Locast, I thought, how do they get away with this? So Locast is very, very interesting. Now, the nice thing is, even if you pay for it, $5 a month is not bad. Right, it's not bad.
Right.
They got sued last year by local stations, ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC Universal in New York. I don't know what's come of that. But what's also weird is that AT&T gave Locast $500,000. DirecTV has actually sent people to Locast. There was a similar company called Aereo. I don't know if you remember this. They put little tiny dime-sized antennas up, and they actually the Supreme Court put them out of business. So, Locast is nonprofit, which might help. Its activities, according to their attorneys, are protected by the Copyright Act. So, because they're nonprofit, that's the key, right? Aereo was for profit. So, we'll see. But yeah, it's a good tip. I really appreciate it, Jim. Thank you.
And you can download it to your Roku or your Fire TV.
Yeah, they have an app. Yeah.
And they have a lot of what I call derivative stations. Like if you have an outside antenna, not only do you get ABC, NBC, et cetera, but you get their derivatives like Get TV, MeTV, Cozy, and stuff like that shows old TV shows and movies.
You probably, if you add that and something low cost like Pluto.tv, you're probably going to save at least $100 off your cable bill. So that really is a good argument for cord cutting. And if you want the premium stations, you can get it.
Right.
Yeah, it's the cable companies are starting to realize they're in trouble. And I don't, they're raising fees to make up for it. They're losing subscribers by the millions every year. It's an interesting challenge they're facing. I mean, in many places, including here where I am, the only decent internet service provider is the cable company. So they'll get their money out of me one way or the other.
Same here. You cut cable and they raise your internet.
Yes, that's right.
But one last thing, my Mach-E Red, Mustang Mach-E Red is on a rail car to Kansas City.
Oh, Jim, are you excited?
Yeah.
My wife's mad at me. She wanted me to get the red. That's a pretty color. Is this your first electric vehicle?
No, I had a quasi-electric Lincoln Aviator.
Oh, nice.
With a plug-in.
Yeah, plug-in hybrid. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I'm getting a Mach-E as well, and mine's on a train. What's your estimated delivery date, did they say?
It's about, I can't remember the exact date, but it's about 2 weeks from now.
Oh, you're going to get yours a little before mine. Mine's Valentine's Day.
Yeah, well, that's about 2 weeks,
the same?
2.5 weeks.
Yeah. It's hard.
The same train.
I put an order in for it November 2019. So I've been waiting, but I am very excited. I think this is going to be a wonderful car to have.
Yeah, me too.
Well, let me know how you like it.
Okay, then. And thanks for taking my call.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, I appreciate it. It's a very good tip, and it can't be mentioned enough. Locast really is an amazing deal, and they think because they're nonprofit that they're going to be able to keep doing business. In the meantime, just take advantage of it. $5 a month. You don't have to pay anything if you don't mind the, hey, give us money every once in a while. You don't have to pay for it, but I think it's worth $5 to get your local stations. Locast.org if you want to see if they are available in your neck of the woods, as it were, as it is. Vito on the line from Syracuse, New York. Hello, Vito.
How you doing, guys?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Watching the game, man. It's like 22 degrees out here. It's pretty cold.
Oh man, well it's almost as cold on Lambeau Field, so you can feel right at home. No spoilers, okay? Because there's people listening who's saying, "Oh, I want a TiVo and I'm gonna watch it when I get home or whatever."
Yeah, it's a good game so far.
It is. I'm watching it.
Yeah, but I got
I got it on the screen here. What can I do for you?
Yeah, I got a crazy question, but I got an old Razr phone.
Yeah.
And it doesn't power up anymore. I don't know. And I was wondering if I got another Razr phone, is there any way they can take the memory out of that phone and put it in the other one?
Yes. If you go into, and sometimes if you go to the company stores, the Verizon store, the AT&T store, they'll scratch their head. But what you want is, and they're all over the place. I'm sure they're all over Syracuse. Is the guy who sells all of it. It's a cell phone store, but they sell them all. And the reason is those guys almost always have a little machine that they can plug your phone into, copy stuff off of it, and put it into the new Razr. You should look, though. You might only need to fix the battery.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to check that first.
And if you go to iFixit.com, love these guys. They want to be the repair manual for the internet. They actually have a guide, an article on replacing the battery. They'll sell the tools and a new battery if you need it. Look at the video. Look how hard it is. It doesn't look too hard. Looks like it's something pretty doable. You do have to, use a spudger to pry it open and things like that. But if you think the phone's still good, usually on these phones, the batteries only last a few years.
Yeah.
So it might just be replace the battery. But yeah, if you want to copy the data off of it, they can do that. They can
even without it powering up.
Well, it depends why it's not powering up. If it's not powering up because the battery's dead, yes. If it's not powering up because of it fell in a toilet, then
I didn't do that.
No,
it's sitting in my drawer.
Yeah, it's probably just the battery. It's just not taking a charge. But it depends why it's not booting up. But if all the electronics are intact and it's not getting power, yeah, they can power it and copy it over. It's certainly worth a call to your local, independent cell phone store. I think they still exist. They're still around. The company stores, it's not that. Probably there's a guy there who knows how to do it. It's just that Verizon doesn't want to be doing that. But these third-party guys, they want your business, and it's been my experience anyway, that they often have a machine. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Why, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Let's see, time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography. We got your smartphones, we got your smartwatches, and in about half an hour, Rod Pyle's going to come by, and we're going to talk about space. Big launch today for SpaceX. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. Meanwhile, 8888 Ask Leo is my phone number if you want to talk high-tech, 888-827 5536. That's toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada, anywhere outside that area. You can still call. You just have to use Skype or something like that. 8888 Ask Leo. Doug's on the line from Magnolia, Texas. Hello, Doug.
Hey, hi, Leo. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, can't complain. Gonna run outside. We're watching a football game.
Of course you are. Who isn't? I think, in fact, this is a good time to call because everybody's watching the football game. The phones are pretty light today. I can't imagine. What is a football game, after all? What's that all about?
Anyway, long-time listener.
Thank you.
Not my first time calling. I really appreciate all your advice.
Thank you.
But I have a problem, and I'm hoping you can kind of point me in the right direction.
Sure.
I upgraded Windows 10 to H02 Friday.
Okay.
Ever since then, my mouse jumps. If I move across the screen,
it's not smooth. It's going. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah, exactly. And I've got a Microsoft keyboard and Microsoft mouse, wireless. And I've redid the drivers. I've rebooted it. I'm kind of running out of ideas as to where.
Yeah. You know, sometimes when you do an update like that and then something goes wrong, it's natural to think, well, it must be the update. But I don't know why the 20H2 update would do that. So I'm wondering, as this is not unusual with a wireless mouse. You've already checked the batteries and all that.
Yes.
Yeah. One thing, it's always a good idea if you're having an issue with a mouse or a trackpad is to plug in a wired mouse just to see if the same thing happens. Do you have I always keep a cheap Microsoft IntelliMouse lying around. They're like $5. Do you have anything like that you can try?
I'm sure I do. I just have to go in the attic and dig through the box.
Yeah. That's a good thing to keep around, because what that'll tell you is if it's a hardware, if it's a hardware issue or a driver issue. If it's a hardware issue, the new mouse, even if it's an old mouse, will work fine. And so then that'll tell you it is related to software. It is related perhaps to 20H2, the driver or whatever. But I always like to figure to eliminate possibilities. And the simplest way to do that would be just to plug in a USB mouse and see if that works normally.
All right. I'll try that.
Yeah, I would find the mice in your attic and bring it downstairs. There are things you can do in the mouse control panel to change the timing and so forth. Who makes the mouse you're using? Is it Logitech?
No, it's Microsoft.
Oh, you said it was Microsoft. That's right.
Yeah.
And you've made sure that you have the latest driver from, you would think, with a Microsoft update, but stranger things have happened. Microsoft is sometimes a little funny about their own hardware. So, yeah, I'd go online and, get the latest driver for that mouse. It is conceivable that it doesn't work with 20H2 or something.
Well, I did run the, I did run the update, but that didn't work.
Yeah, you might need to go out and download it. The other thing, of course, if you're going to do the update, the plug and play update, go into your device manager and delete that entire driver. Just delete anything that says mouse and start over. It'll download a new version of it. It could just be damaged. The driver itself could be damaged. And it would say, well, you got the latest. It wouldn't download a new one. So you have to manually delete it to force it to download a fresh one. Let me see. Scooter X in the chat room has found an article about mouse lag. How to fix mouse lags in Windows 10. That's what it sounds like you've got.
Yes.
It's a major hindrance, it says.
Yeah.
Oh, you have stutter. This is another problem that users reported. According to them, their mouse frequently stutters. It's present after switching to Windows 10, and it persists with Windows 10. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you this link. There's a 14-step solution, 14 different things you can try. And so they're going to recommend you download something called Driver Fix. I do not recommend that. You don't need a third-party program to find drivers. That's just a bad idea. But they have some other things that you might want to take a look at, like turning off Cortana. Maybe Cortana's doing it. Or it says disable NVIDIA high-definition audio. Really? I guess that could use the CPU and maybe affect the mouse. Disable fast startup. Well, that's always something you should do all the time in Windows. Fast startup is a terrible idea. You can do that in the power options. Turn off fast startup. I don't know why that would affect the mouse, but so this has got 14 things like that. I'll put a link in the show notes at techguylabs.com. Thank you, Scooter X. Here's another one from answers.microsoft. We got a good chat room. These guys are fast. Periodic mouse stutter after some update. And Yeah, same thing. Hardware and devices troubleshooter, blah, blah, blah. Check your mouse frequency, disable fast startup, roll back your drivers. Yeah, it's all the same things. You've already tried these. The fast startup one is interesting now. That's the second place I've seen that. Fast startup is a nutty thing that Microsoft added to Windows that everybody agrees it's a bad idea. So even if it's not the cause of this, it's a good idea to turn off fast startup anyway. I always do. You've checked the batteries. I presume you've replaced the batteries because that's very common in a wireless mouse to have when the batteries start to fail. But like I said, the best thing to do, get that wired mouse, see if it's happening with that. If it is, now we know it's software. You can start doing these 14 steps. If it isn't, then it's the mouse itself.
Yeah, okay.
All right?
All right. Well, thanks, Leo. Hopefully I get to visit again whenever you...
Oh, were you here?
Well, I've been there all three of your studios.
Oh, my goodness, Doug. I look forward to seeing you again.
I'm the Navy guy that travels in an RV.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's nice to talk to you.
Wait, I remember.
Are you staying in Magnolia for the duration, or are you still moving around?
Yeah, we've hunkered down. About the only people we visit is my son, which is we're over. I'm at his house right now.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. You can be with family.
Try and stay away from as many people as we can.
Yep. It's not going to be much longer, I hope.
This new variant I was reading about today.
Oh, okay. I got my hand in my ears. I don't want to hear. Thank you, Doug. Have a great day.
All right, thanks, Leo.
Stay safe. I look forward to seeing you up here as soon as you get back in that RV. I really do. We used to have a open studio with people come by all the time. It was always fun having them, but since March. We've shut the place down. Can't come in. Nope, just me. Me and Kim, and she's in a completely different room, and our studio manager John, he's in a completely different room. We gotta separate. I'm isolated in this studio. No one comes in here. Actually, I'm a little nervous. We're gonna clean the carpets tonight. Right, John? The carpet cleaners are coming in. I have to leave the door unlocked. And then what, are we gonna wipe everything down? Seems strange to clean after the cleaners, but I guess that's what we'll have to do. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo, the phone number. Rod Pyle, our space guy, coming up. But first, some more calls from Don in Culver City, California. Hi, Don.
Hey, Leo. Thanks for taking my call.
My pleasure. Thank you for calling and hanging on.
Yeah. It was in my car, and I had to hang up and come in and call back again.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you got through again. That's even better.
Yeah, first call.
Nice.
Anyway, my first computer was a 2009 HP laptop, Windows Vista Home Basic.
Oh, nice. That's
which I'm still using.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of heavy stuff. I don't do like gaming or anything.
Right.
It works, but I decided it's time to come into the 21st century.
Oh, you want a new one, huh?
Well, I bought a new one.
Oh, good man.
I got an HP all-in-one.
Okay.
Because of where I sit and my rolling computer stand. Anyway, it's perfect for my application.
Yeah, I actually like the all-in-ones. They're convenient. Everything's in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, transferring stuff over. It's a Windows 10, obviously.
Yes.
And I'm so used to my Vista with my desktop setup and everything with the icons and all that, and I'm a complete computer nerd. Even though I did set up my new Samsung Smart TV a couple days ago by myself. So
nice, well done.
Yeah, but as far as this setup, I could probably figure out how to get on. Do things like Facebook.
Yeah, it's not going to copy over. Exactly how Vista looked. You can, there is a tool that will help you migrate your data over and stuff, but you'll probably have to go through it. It looks so different compared to Vista anyway. You might want to do this anyway. You'll have to go through it and do it by hand. And yeah, you'll log into Facebook again. I hope you saved your passwords and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. No, I know all that.
Yeah.
Now, can I set up the desktop with the icons that kind of look like?
Yeah, that hasn't changed so much. You'll notice the menus look a little bit different. The taskbar works a little bit differently. There's now a thing if you move your mouse to the lower right, there's a new kind of slide out notification panel, things like that. The start menu looks a little different. But as far as the desktop goes, you can still put whatever icons you want on the desktop. You just have to, I don't think there's a way to copy the old one over, not that I know of. You'll have to.
I couldn't like a copy on this one and then paste it onto.
No, I wish you could. No, I'm afraid not. You're going to have to. What you should do is have your Vista next to you, and just go through it one by one. And do you know how to make those icons on the desktop? They're aliases. They're shortcuts. They're not the actual folders. And you can tell because there's a little arrow in the lower right hand corner.
Well, yeah, I know there's shortcuts.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a nerd with that stuff.
Okay. So yeah, but this is an opportunity for you to think about.
I have a lot of personal information. I don't have like banking or anything on there. I have. I have iTunes stuff on there and Windows Photo Gallery. And that's another question. The Photo Gallery. Is there a Windows Photo Gallery on?
There is. Yeah, it's different. That's very different, but it does exist. We're going to put Matthew in our chat room has brought up a article from the Microsoft Answers site, how to move files and software from Vista to Windows 10. Look at that. And so there is a step-by-step that talks about the different things you can do. But it is so different in the user interface that most of the stuff is like there's a Photos app, but it isn't anything like the old Photos app. So while your photos will come over as you move your data over, you're going to have to get used to a new user interface, a new way of looking at things, a new way of modifying things, that kind of stuff.
But when I say I take a photo on my phone and I plug in the...
That will still happen.
And it'll transfer the...
Yeah, that'll still happen. That's right.
I'm an old dog, 74 years old, and I hate learning new tricks.
I know, and this is why people don't upgrade. But honestly, Vista is pretty old, so I think it really is time for you to make that upgrade.
Yeah, and I know people said, "Oh, I think they hated Windows 8 more," but they said, "Oh, Windows just garga."
Yeah, that was so the story is, I don't really believe this, that every other Microsoft version is good. So Windows XP, good. Windows Vista, bad. Right? Windows 7, good. Windows 8, bad. Right. Windows 10, good. So we're in the good cycle right now.
And, so this is the only thing I had, and I learned on it, and I never had any problem.
This is one thing that Microsoft's very good at. They don't like to hurt people by changing things too much. Now, the biggest change was, frankly, from Vista to 7. And then from 7 to 8, those were some pretty ugly jumps, but they've smoothed off some of the edges. I think 10 is actually pretty well designed. It's going to look different. It's going to feel different. You're going to feel a little weird. Like when you get a new pair of glasses for the first few days, and then you'll get used to it.
Yeah, I got to go through. The other question is the security system. I have Norton 360 right now.
Don't put it on there. You don't need it.
No, but I know, but Norton's not going to be. I don't think Norton's not going to support Vista.
Right, and that's why you got to move. The big one is Microsoft's not supporting it. So if they don't update Vista, that means you're vulnerable to all sorts of potential things. So that's a really good reason for you to do the upgrade now.
So I can use just the Windows Defender on the.
It comes with a very capable antivirus. It's well designed. So you don't. I generally tell people you don't need additional security on Windows 10.
Okay.
If you've got a teenager using it, or if you're a teenager, if you can't exert self-control and stay off the kind of the sketchy sites, maybe it's a good idea to have belt and suspenders. But honestly, Windows Defender is pretty darn good.
Yeah. Well, I'm gone way past.
Yeah, I don't think we have to worry about you. I think you're all right.
Anybody that wants to hack into my computer and get my music.
Nobody's going to hack into your computer. Just be careful. You know this. I think you're
bluegrass music and slide guitar play.
Sounds good. I'll take it. No, you're smart enough to know that, not only do you stay off sketchy sites, but really the biggest issue is being extra aware about clicking on links, whether they're in email or messaging or on Facebook.
Oh, I never do that.
Yeah, you got to be really careful there because...
No, I don't click on anything that I don't really know about.
And the same thing with email attachments. Even if they come from people you know, you want to be careful about those too. So all of that stuff, reasonable precautions and you're safe.
But I was thinking of taking it. I got the computer at Office Depot, and
you could take it to them and say, "Move my stuff over." They'll do it for you.
Yeah, and then I have another place that I took because my laptop fell and broke, and they took the screen off.
Yeah,
and now I'm hooked up. Instead of having the 70-inch screen, I'm hooked up.
They'll
21.5-inch monitor.
They'll move it over. It just depends on you, your time, your money. Whether you. It's like do you change your own oil? Or do you have somebody do it? It's up to you. It's up to you. Some of us like to do it. Some of us don't. But they can do it. And I'll send you this article. We'll put this in the show notes. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Our rocket man. Time for our rocket man himself, Rod Pyle. He's the author of Space 2.0, editor-in-chief of Ad Astra magazine. He sent me some copies of it. It's the magazine of the National Space Society. I love this tagline, dedicated to the creation of a spacefaring civilization. And he's spacefaring his way out of Southern California to us, although the connection's not great, Rod, so I don't know. Can you hear me? No, he's...
I hear you fine.
Oh, yeah, it's coming and going. Isn't it funny? We can talk to the International Space Station, get a great signal, but we can't.
It's wired in and everything.
I don't know what's going on. Your bandwidth is failing us.
Video off?
Yeah, turn off the video. We don't need video. It's a radio show. We're going to get this working. Rod wants to talk about something that happened this morning. Now I hear you. Hi, Rod.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we don't need your video.
TWiT. How are you?
I know what you look like.
Yeah, unfortunate for you. How are you?
I'm great. We were just talking about this magazine. I love it. Ad Astra, the magazine of the National Space Society, dedicated to the creation of a space-faring civilization. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Like we're all going to move to Mars? What does that mean?
Well, it can mean a lot of things, but on the whole, what it means is we feel that it's time to start at least preparing to get people moved off of Earth. That also includes, this is basically Jeff Bezos' vision, which was the vision of a guy named Gerard O'Neill back in the 1970s, which is, build colonies in Earth orbit somewhere, either low Earth orbit or out at the Lagrange points, which are these points of equilibrium between the Earth and the moon, and move heavy industry out there so they can let the Earth recover.
Yeah, don't pollute here, pollute space. It's a lot of it.
Well, and it's really hard to pollute space.
Yes.
There is an argument against polluting Mars and planets. But you certainly, when you talk about asteroids that are threatening the Earth, it's like, use them up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, let's mine
Make
them.
cool things out of them.
Yeah, let's mine them.
Yeah.
Now, this morning,
so we actually...
Go ahead. I was just going to say we have a virtual conference coming up that is all about space settlement in a couple of weeks. I wanted to mention at some point. Yes, please do.
So this is free. The website is spacesettlement2021.nss.org, and it's on February 4th at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, and I'm putting this together with a couple of folks from the National Space Society. It's about 7 hours. First 4.5 hours are kind of premier people in this movement. Some are from NASA, some are from industry. We've got people from various players in the private and commercial side, and then just a lot of cool thinkers and YouTube personalities and things like that.
This sounds awesome.
And we're doing this in conjunction with Space.com. So one of the first segments is myself having a fireside chat with the editor over there, Tarek Malik, who's a great guy. And so it's going to be simulcast on the NSS YouTube channel and on Space.com. So it's probably easiest just to go watch on Space.com. We usually get about 50, 60,000 people for these things.
So is this free?
It is.
Oh, this is I can't wait.
And part of it actually is content from an event we do earlier in the year, which is a by invitation only thing that's about $500 or $600. So it's a good deal to get it for free.
Yeah.
But we're doing that this year because it's been a lousy year. So let's think positive things.
And if you've got a few bucks, go to space.nss.org and sign up. Join Join the National Space Society. I see you've got Larry Niven and David Brin, two of my favorite sci-fi authors, are going to be there.
Oh, man, you want to start a food fight? You talk to them about, okay, moon or Mars first, and Brin just goes right into it with hammers and tongs, man. And he goes for like 5 minutes. It's like, okay, what does Larry think?
David did write a series called Mars. He might know a little bit about Mars.
Well, they're all like excruciatingly smart. I mean, we just kind of cower in the corner when they start talking. But yeah, we did have a record-breaking launch this morning with SpaceX called Transporter One.
So
which
SpaceX
I like because it's
Elon Musk's civilian space effort, although he uses NASA facilities, NASA launch pads, things like that. They're in cooperation. Was this one of the launches for the satellite system that he's launching, or is this something else?
That's interesting. It's a little bit of both. So those launches average about 60, and they're kind of the size of like a small dinner table, and they're in this very elegant stacked system where they slide out one after one. And you can actually see them if it's dark when they're deploying overhead. You can see them kind of strung out like a little string of pearls in the sky when they first come out. This was actually primarily a commercial launch. So he had 143 satellites.
What?
Only 10 of them were Starlink, and the rest were for private customers. So I think the largest one before this was an Indian launch. It was 101.
So how does that work? I mean, are they all in the top in a cluster, and then you set? How does that work? I don't even understand how you do that.
They're up in the fairing or the nose cone, and he's got this cool stacked arrangement where you hope that they come in some kind of a basically standard interface, which is what CubeSats are very good at because they're about the size of a single width Kleenex box. And
so they're not that big.
Build them to that standard.
These satellites.
Well, some aren't, but some of them were large. And I mean, it goes further than this. So he's launching satellites that, as I read it, are going both into equatorial orbits, which are around the equator of the Earth, roughly, and polar orbits, which are north to south, which is what a lot of military or observation satellites use because the Earth rotates under them. So, he's taking this curving trajectory up to orbit and kind of flinging these things out as it goes. So the first ones were for Planet Labs, which is a commercial space observation company, or Earth observation company, and they deployed about 1 hour into the flight. And then the last ones were the Starlink satellites that were, so this is also cool. So his system, Starlink, dozens, thousands of satellites in low Earth orbit. So rather than being one spot in the sky like they are up in geosynchronous orbit, they keep flying overhead. So if you're using your internet through Starlink, it's handing off from one satellite to the other.
Kind of like the cell phone system.
Seamlessly.
Yeah.
But he realized, for people in high and low latitudes up in Alaska or down in South Australia or Tierra del Fuego or something, they're going to need coverage there. So he's also launching these satellites in these extreme polar orbits. I mean, it makes science fiction sound almost trivial in comparison sometimes, this guy. The things that he does.
143 satellites. Wow. And not only that, they landed the booster back, right?
Right. So this is the 8th use of the booster, which has never happened before, not even close. Nobody's even really flown one in orbit twice before.
NASA used to just let them land in the ocean, threw them out.
Yeah. Well, and they still do, unfortunately. Only SpaceX and Blue Origin have really reached recyclability yet. And
but that's a way to really bring the costs down, is to do that.
Oh,
that's amazing.
And he's done, I think, 73 recoveries now of the first stages. And this one, to make things just a little more complex, because he was using, I think, a little more fuel to get into this complicated orbit, instead of landing back at Cape Canaveral, where the rocket took off from, he's landing on that barge he sends out to sea. So not only do you have to navigate back down to the surface of the Earth, or the ocean in this case, but you've got a sea swell running maybe 8 feet. So the rocket's got to know if the barge is going up, going down, going sideways, leaning, and land on it and not blow up. It's just brilliant. And he launched more ashes into orbit through that company, Celestis. So Interesting day.
I would love to know whose ashes, but we are out of time. Rod Pyle.
Okay.
I wish now you got me hanging here. Maybe next week we can find out. Author of a number of wonderful books, including Space 2.0, editor-in-chief of the Ad Astra magazine. But the most important plug is this conference coming up, and it's free if you go to, tell me the name. The address again.
It's spacesettlement2021.nss.org.
Spacesettlement2021.nss.org. Leo Laporte.
Yes, sir.
Guy. Thank you, Rod.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I wanted to give you a good plug for that. That's a great thing.
I don't know. I was wired into Ethernet today. I can't figure out what happened.
Well,
Got
it works
charter
fine
cable
without
and
the
wires.
video, which is good news. I'm really relieved.
Yeah.
But boy, if you do video, it's unusable. But audio alone is fine. So let's just do that. There's no reason for video. That's just for my benefit. So
well, I can check in with John midweek and see because I'm back home. So maybe it's something here.
If there's other stuff working on that, is it the same computer you use on the boat?
Yeah, and I had Premiere on, which I turned off, but I didn't reboot it afterwards. Premiere runs an emulation, so maybe
maybe the emulator's running or something.
Yeah,
well, we can try some stuff.
Yeah. Emulation is not a happy thing on the M1 yet, is it?
No,
and it works, but I wish Premiere would update their.
Well, is it just Rosetta 2? That should shut out after.
I think so. No. Well, I hadn't restarted for a few days. Maybe I need to restart every Sunday morning.
Yeah, we always recommend that. And sometimes rebooting the router is a good idea. Just, reboot it all just to kind of fresh start. We'll try that next week and see. Was there anybody famous in the so this is a thing that you can pay to get your ashes in space?
Yeah, so it's it's not all of you. I mean, you've seen cremation urns before.
Oh,
it's just a little fraction of them, like a teaspoon or something.
Oh, I don't care
because otherwise they'd have to charge hundreds of thousands.
Expensive, yeah.
But there's a guy named David Livingston who does another radio show called The Space Show, who's launched a bit of his dog and a bit of his mother, I think, into orbit. It's like $8,000 or something.
Oh no!
I mean, I'm kind of like. I'd rather just build an Estes model rocket and set it up and have it go poof.
There you go.
Be done with it.
There you go. Just get into the stratosphere. I'll be fine.
Because at my size, if I try and launch all my ashes, it's going to take an entire rocket. So I don't want to go there.
Oh, my.
Hey, when the time comes, let's talk about it.
Let's talk. Rod, a pleasure as always.
Thank you, sir.
And we will talk again next week.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. Thank you for letting me be the funky tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Thanks to our Professor Laura, our musical director. She does such a good job. And, of course, our phone angel, Kim Schaffer, who gets you on the air. Thanks especially to all of you who make it possible for all of us to do this each weekend with you. I'm so glad. I love doing this, and thank you for listening. Got some time, last segment of the hour, to do a few more calls. Let's start with Diane, my friend Diane in Chicago, Illinois. Hello, Diane.
Hi, how are you?
I am very well. How are things in the Windy City?
They're wonderful. They're wonderful. Disregard everything you hear on the news. They're wonderful.
The hawk isn't blowing from Lake Michigan and freezing your bones and all of that?
No, it's not freezing me up.
Lou Rawls did not do Chicago any favors with that song, because all I think about is the hawk blowing down Michigan Avenue. What can I do for you, Diane?
I'm trying to unlink an email account off of my primary account that I've had for years. And I've searched many places, and you're my last resort.
Oh, no. So when you say primary account, what do you mean? Where is this linked?
It's linked under my primary Gmail account. I have other Gmail accounts, and they're all linked together, and I want to unlink this one. And every place I've looked, it's asking me to eliminate my primary account.
No, we don't want to do that. So this is a third-party account that you have linked with Google? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That means when you get your Gmail, the mail from this account shows up? Is that what's going on?
No.
No.
I have 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 Gmail accounts, and they're all listed one under the other.
Got it.
Okay. So this person is no longer existing anymore.
Got it. And you don't want that email. So so I'm just trying to understand where this is showing up. So when you're in your browser on Gmail,
yes,
you see when you click your picture on the right there, you see a bunch of other accounts. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly right.
And you don't want to see those anymore.
I don't want to see that particular one.
Yeah. You want to see the ones that you already got there. I think if you so you go to that account and you log out of it. So when you see that drop down, click the one you want to get rid of, okay? And that will now, in the Google account, it'll show, instead of Diane, it'll show that picture of that account, right?
Correct.
So you're in that account. Now, click that picture, and you can, I think you can log out of that account. In fact, I think you can delete that account. Yes, you can. So here's the deal. So I just did it. So I see Leo Laporte. I see my head on my main account, but I have another account that's associated with me, as you say, that's linked. And if I click it, I go in there, and I'm now logged in as that account, right? I can click it and say manage that account. And you'll see there is, under the management of that account, there is an entry to delete that account. Do you want to delete it or just log out of it?
I want to delete it, but when I tried doing that, it wanted me to delete my account.
Well, no, you're right. Don't do that. That would be a bad idea, wouldn't it?
Right.
That's what we don't want to do. But if you're in, so the trick is to log into that account you want to delete. And once you're in, you're in it. And then so now you see a different picture on the right? You don't see Diane's picture. Okay. Now you should be able to, you see the manage your account button there?
Yes, I see manage storage, but manage your data and personnel.
No, what you want to do is make sure you're logged into that account and you're on that account, and then you should be able to delete that account, or I believe you should be able to disconnect it, which might be safer if, in case someday you want that account back. Let me look at it again, because this is puzzling to me. If you're logged into another Google account, you should be able to log out of that account, detach it, even delete it if you want, and it shouldn't show up there anymore. I have to. You're making me laugh, because my problem is the opposite. It constantly logs me out. I have 2 accounts, a personal account and a work account on Gmail, and it constantly logs me out. In fact, it just did at my work account, and I want it to keep remembering them, and it keeps doing it. So I'm puzzled by the persistence of your account. I don't know. I don't understand why that is happening to you. So that's you should be able to just delete it. You definitely want to think about obviously not deleting your account, and if it even feels like you might, I'm very puzzled. So I'm in my Gmail. Do this from Gmail, right? So you go to Gmail, and then the right-hand corner, you'll see Diane's picture. And then you click that, you'll see other accounts. You click that other account. In my case, it's my work account. Now I'm logged into my work account. And so the picture has changed. It's changed from my head to my company's logo, right? Now, if I click on that, it says leo@twit.tv. That's my company account. And then under that, there's a button that says manage your Google account. Now, I'm managing that account now, not my personal account, the main account that you want to keep. And it says welcome. And now let's see. If I go home, security issues, account storage, I see what you're saying. Personal info. What we want is a log out. We want to get rid of this account. I saw a delete there earlier. Data and personalization, security. Now I see what you're saying, Diane, because I don't see a way to get out of this account.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now I see. I see. Well, maybe that's because at the top it says this account is managed by my company, so I bet I can't delete that account. You can't. Okay, at the bottom, there's a sign out of all accounts. When you click your head and you see the different accounts, at the very bottom, sign out of all accounts. You could do that. Once you've signed out of that account, it shouldn't show up in that list anymore. But that isn't deleting the account.
No, it isn't. And then to sign out of all accounts, then I have to re-enter all these different passwords.
Yeah, you would.
To get back in.
Yeah, you would. You don't want to do that, huh?
No.
No, I don't blame you. So you have login permissions for this account you want to delete. You have login permissions for it, right?
Correct.
Yeah. But now you want to get rid of this. You don't like having this extra account.
Right.
So if you go to myaccount.google.com as that account, you can delete your Google account. I'm looking at the delete your Google account support page at support.google.com. It first says, learn what deleting your account means. You're going to lose everything. You're going to lose everything. Review and download your info. You don't care about that. Go to myaccount.google.com. Make sure, again, that you're logged in not to your primary account, Diane, but the one you want to delete. At the left, click Data and Personalization. And then if you scroll down, you'll see Download, Delete, or Make a Plan for your data. Click Delete a Service or your account, and then click Delete your account. So they bury it. And you know why they bury it? Because after all, this is a big deal. So, again, go to myaccount.google.com, logged in as the account you want to delete. On the left, you'll see Data and Personalization. They kind of hide this away. And at the very bottom, it says Download, Delete, or Make a Plan for your data. The third item on that is Delete a service or your account. I would read all the stuff they talk about just to make sure you understand what you're deleting. But yes, I found it. It's hidden. We'll post a link to that tech note on our webpage, techguylabs.com, so you can read through the steps. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Have a great geek week. Bye-bye. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWiT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.